What's going on, everybody? Thumbs up if you can see me, if you can hear me. What's up, Julio? What's up, Alan? MJ's in the house. What's up, Gabriella? What's up, Danielle? Jasek's in the house. I haven't seen a lot of you lately. We got Stan. Good to see you. And then I can't see the faces of some people. Lynn Davis, Andrew McDonald, Andrew, David Savage. You got to turn these cameras on, folks. I got all dressed up for you, right? It's a beautiful day in London, and I'd rather be here with you because I'm going to talk to you about why Bitcoin is set up, in my opinion, to go right to the moon, and I'm going to tell you why. So please turn cameras on. I've got a bad habit of throwing people out of this call if they don't have the cameras on. I just think it's common courtesy, right? Raise your hand if you think I'm right. That's just common courtesy, right? Some people wear ties for me as well. Alexander Walker, I love seeing that. Andrew McDonald, Henry Shiner. It's always the beautiful people that have the cameras off. So thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. Look, there's a lot of news that has just come in the last 24, 48 hours that is telling us it's time. I believe it's time where TradFi, traditional finance, is about to start diversifying their assets and putting money into Bitcoin. Does that make sense what I'm saying, by the way? Thumbs up if that makes sense. If not, I'm going to explain it tonight. You know, Kevin O'Leary, do you know Kevin O'Leary, one of the Shark Tank guys? He's kind of always out there talking about crypto. He said, look, I spend time in Kuwait. I spend time in Saudi Arabia. Their sovereign wealth funds are so massive. They're trillions of dollars of oil money. He said when they put 1% of that into crypto, the market is going to go to Pluto. It's going to go all the way to the moon. Does that make sense to everybody here? So far, pension funds and traditional financial institutions have stayed out of crypto, right? Because it's hard for them to own it on their balance sheet. It's hard for them to do their due diligence on it. There's still issues with Gary Gensler of the SEC. As soon as that is solved, we're immediately going to see 1% of potentially a $15 trillion market go into crypto. And crypto's not that big, folks. It's a $1 trillion marketplace. When you put that much cash, what happens to the price? You know, we know supply and demand, right? Demand goes up, supply is the same. Price goes where, MJ? It goes up, folks. We all know that. So, you know, we see this happening. I'm going to tell you the signs I'm seeing. I worked for 15 years at the highest levels of international finance. I started in banking in New York City. Then I went to work for the First National Bank of Chicago. Then I came to London and worked at one of these big buildings behind me in the credit derivatives market for 9 years. My clients were Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Deutsche Bank, all the top banks in the world. I know this language, and when I see them making these moves, we all know what's going to happen. I've got a presentation I just cooked up. I've also got some video I want to share with you that I haven't released yet. And this is with some of the top investment professionals in the world. How do I get this video? Well, they come on my show, right? So I get to get you information that sometimes the mainstream media doesn't even know about. Is everybody kind of cool here and with me? By the way, just put your hands up if you own Bitcoin right now. Just hands up if you do. Okay, cool. So we got Danielle, Julio, Gabrielle, Andrew. Don't be shy, Martini. Okay, Lynn Davis, Mary. Okay, cool. Nice, good. So we got some people here that are kind of, you know what's up. A lot of you don't, and a lot of people don't know when to get into it. But Bitcoin is digital gold. It's an asset that, guess what, even the US government can't mess with. Does everybody know that this new CBDC called FedNow is about to be pushed through in the States? Does anybody know about this? And they're going to try to convince you to use this super fast payment system. I was just on the call with Kim Kiyosaki, wife of Robert Kiyosaki, who wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And she said, Brian, I don't like this CBDC because they're going to use it to control us. They're going to see how you spent every single dollar. And guess what, Danielle? They might say, oh, remember that one time that you donated $20 to that political party? Guess what? You're not going to get a loan for your house, right? Guess what? You can't get a job here. And if you think that sounds crazy, look at the way they're canceling people left and right. People here in the UK right now are getting their bank accounts closed down because of their political views. So this is dangerous. This is a time where you want some assets that the US government or other governments can't control. And I think right now is the perfect time. We've been in crypto heavily for the past 2 years. We've graduated over 1,000 students in our crypto and DeFi Academy. We are investing $3 million this month into some of the hottest blockchain companies in the world. Metaverse, artificial intelligence, pure blockchain plays. And so we really kind of know what we're talking about. And because of London Real, I talk to the best people in the business. So I want to share with you a few insights. I'm going to show you how you can take advantage of this news. And then again, we rock and roll from there. How's that sound for everybody? Good? I'm going to make this one short and sweet. I appreciate cameras going on. Martini, am I going to throw some people out today? I think I am. Brian Murphy, Eugene King, David Savage. David Savage, I already gave you a warning, man. You got to go, brother. All right, David Savage, you got to go. It's not personal. And I think one more person's got to go. Zuhair, you got a cool name, Zuhair. I don't really want to do that. But Tom Polenic, I think I'm going to throw you out as well. So please turn those cameras on. Martini will throw the rest out. I want to see some eyeballs. We're going to go fast. And if you got any questions, put them in the chat and we'll answer them at the end. Is that good? Everybody here? All right, good. Cut the distractions, pay attention, because this right here could make you a lot of money if you understand what I'm saying. So let's jump in. I just cooked this thing up this morning. Can everybody see this? Thumbs up if you can. This is me talking about BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF. All right. By the way, how many people are familiar with a firm called BlackRock? Just thumbs up if you have. They're in the news. They got a really cool, they have a name that makes them sound like they're really good people, right? BlackRock, right? Gabriel, right? They sound like angels. Wow, I hope one day BlackRock will save me. Even their name sounds sinister, right? And one of my recent guests, James O'Keefe, who's one of these investigative journalists, he just exposed one of the BlackRock HR people for bragging about how they love the war in Ukraine because it makes a lot of money. Bragging about how the fact that they love market volatility because it scares people and they make money. So it's like, look, you know, we got to keep an eye out on these institutions. I've had Goldman Sachs as a client, right? Goldman Sachs cares about one thing, making as much money as possible. So let's just be clear. Look, they're running a business. I respect it, but I also know we don't want to trust them too far. Everybody with me? Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF has just been reapplied for. I'm going to explain how that is going to make crypto surge in 2023. When Bitcoin goes up, Ethereum goes up. When Ethereum goes up, Cardano goes up. Ripple can go up. Binance Coin can go up, and a lot of other plays can go up. We are involved in all of these behind the scenes, and I'm going to show you how to trade and profit now from this. All right, this is important. We're talking a lot about artificial intelligence now. We're talking a lot about blockchain and a lot about metaverse, because this is where we see people like you able to create generational wealth. What does that mean? 10, 20, $30 million in the course of a few years, not in the course of a generation, 20 years. How does that sound for everybody here? Is that why you're here? I hope that sounds good to me as well. I'll take some of that as well. Get my kids set up just in case. And here we go. Of course, they're going to have to work for their money at least until they're 30, I think. So we'll get into that. Before we go, just want to say there's a disclaimer. Again, this is not financial advice. This is purely my opinions. If you do want financial advice, find a professional and they'll tell you their opinions. And that being said, let's jump into this. So this is the headline. BlackRock, one of the largest asset managers in the world, refiles for a Bitcoin ETF after the SEC flagged the current one for flaws. They put this in about 10 days ago. And in it, they also cited Coinbase as someone who's going to actually call the price of Bitcoin every single day for mark-to-market reasons. But the fact that BlackRock has gone back in and is persistent shows that it's only a matter of time until they get this. And again, the Bitcoin ETF is crucial because once you have this ETF, you can put pension money into it. You can put sovereign wealth money into it without holding Bitcoins on your balance sheet. If you're a bank, it's hard to put Bitcoin somewhere. It's hard. It's not like money where you can just stick it in an account. An ETF means that all these institutions can get involved. Once they dip their toe in, I mean, the market will not even know what hit it. I mean, you could easily see Bitcoin go from 30,000 to 60,000. You could see it go from 60 to 120. You know, Tim Draper, legendary VC in Silicon Valley, is calling for $250,000 Bitcoin. All right, that's a 10x move. So we have to be aware of this, and it can happen like that. Crypto is the most volatile asset I've ever seen in my entire financial career. It makes it dangerous, but if you know what you're doing, potentially very profitable. So again, we're seeing this new wave, okay? And again, a major bank has revealed that a $15 trillion earthquake. Again, the value of all crypto assets right now is about 1.4 trillion. So this is massive. Headed for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance Coin, Ripple, Cardano, Dogecoin, Tron, Solana, and Polygon. By the way, I've had the CEO of Polygon, Sandeep Nawal, on my show twice. He's coming back a third time. I've had Justin Sun, the CEO of Tron, on my show. I know all these people, all right? And the fact that it's going to pull these tokens up is the time. Crypto went through its difficult times last year, and now it's coming back. Bitcoin broke through 31,000 recently, which is an all-year high. It could easily go to 32, 33, which is going to be a 1-year high. There's no reason it's not scheduled to go. And so we have to pay attention to this right now. Don't sleep on this. Again, the accumulation of Bitcoin begins. So many people have predicted this. And it's funny, on one hand, the regulators are trying to say, crypto's bad, don't touch it. Let's put all the crypto companies bankrupt. And at the same time, what are they doing? They're allowing all the traditional finance companies to come in and buy all the crypto. Just give me a thumbs up. Do you think there's a little bit nefarious here? Does that sound a little cagey to you? Especially, where did Gary Gensler from the SEC used to work? Where did he used to work? Goldman Sachs, right? Where do most of the treasury secretaries appointed by the president used to work? Goldman Sachs. JP Morgan has been described, which is the biggest bank in the world, one of them, as basically a quasi-government institution. Do you see what's happening here? They don't want Coinbase or FTX or Binance to have all the crypto profits. They would rather that go to their friends in the banking industry. It's also a great way to potentially regulate it. So you have to kind of read between the lines. And again, trillions of dollars to the BTC market. The size of the Bitcoin entire market cap, the value of all the Bitcoin out there is about 450 billion. So if you put $2 or $3 trillion into that, what do you think that's going to do to the price? Anybody want to guess? Right? How many times do you think it'll go up? 2 times? Let me see fingers. More than that? That's a lot of money going in, right? Gabriella's like 10 times. Is that 20 times? Is that what you're doing to me, Gabriella? 30 times, right? But look, that's a lot. That's like, that's like going in and say there's 10 loaves of bread in the supermarket, and you come in and you're like, I want to buy 200 loaves. And they're like, we only have 10. How much does it cost? $1 each. They're like, I'll pay $10. I'll pay $20. I need the bread. So when you put that much new capital in a market with a fixed supply, the price can do things that doesn't make sense. And again, what is the fair value price of Bitcoin? Does anybody know here? Does anybody know? Like, we don't know. We know there's 21 million of them. We know the US government cannot mess with it. They can't print more. We know your dollar is being worth less and less every single day because of inflation, because of taxation, because of money printing. And that doesn't happen to Bitcoin. It's the only asset in the world that's digital and has a fixed supply. Does that make sense to everybody? Right? And let me say one more thing about Bitcoin before I show you this video. For the last 13 years, Bitcoin has never, ever, ever gone offline. Do you know that? It's never gone down, that network. Let me tell you a few things that have gone down. Google's gone down. Facebook has gone down. Sometimes your banking ATM machine has gone down. After 13 years, when Lord knows every terrorist organization in the world, including, probably Hamas, and Al-Qaeda and CIA, those are all terrorist organizations, have tried to take it down, right? Does everyone know what I mean? And it stayed up. And that's why a lot of people put trust in Bitcoin, and it's the asset. So you got to watch this. And again, if Bitcoin doubles, Ethereum is going to go right along with it, because it's a vote for the market. And a lot of these institutions are getting more comfortable with Ethereum as we speak. All right, does that make sense? How many people own Ethereum, by the way? Hands up if you own ETH. And by the way, if you're new to these assets, very quickly, Bitcoin is digital gold. It's a digital asset play. Ethereum is a digital technology play, because that's where all the programmable smart contracts are. So again, Bitcoin is like to gold. I would say Ethereum is more like Amazon, right? It's something that can scale, and it can provide all sorts of resources on it. So remember, and those two right now are still considered by Gary Gensler of the SEC not securities. It's like those and Litecoin and Dogecoin, like a couple of they've said it's not a security. So right now, even the regulators aren't touching it, which means they could just go to the moon. We're huge fans of Bitcoin and Ethereum here. We've always held them in our portfolio. So this is Safedin Amos. Okay, he's an economist and author. He's the author of a book called The Bitcoin Standard. And he says, and I got to say this to all of you, have fun staying poor. And why does he say that? I know. He's actually a nice guy, but he talks straight, He's from Israel, right? Always gives it to you straight. I love it. And he said, look, have fun staying poor. And that's what he says if you choose to put your money in the bank and you don't put it in Bitcoin. How many people have money in a bank right now? Come on, be honest. Oh, you do. Come on. You have fiat currency in a bank. What's going to happen to that $1,000 you have in a bank over the next couple of years? Is it going to be worth more in the future? Come on. At any point in time, the federal government can print more. Inflation now is going to make it worth 10% less every year, which the government also takes care of. They can tax it at a higher rate whenever they want. So he says you're just being a fool. And every single currency is inflationary, if not hyperinflationary. So let me share a quick video from Safadine. He was just recently on my show. He's a fascinating guy. He's a bit of a Bitcoin maximalist. And by the way, he's now advising the president of El Salvador, which has taken Bitcoin to be legal tender down there. And that's a pretty exciting development. So this is what he said about you and Bitcoin.
For me, the dollar is over. The fiat bargain broke down. Show me what you've done with your portfolio, with your bonds, with your stocks over the last 5 years, and how has it outperformed Bitcoin? Have fun staying poor. This is just a better technology for money. And your technology for money is a broken technology that is optimized for your government to steal from you. It's optimized for the government to be able to finance its operation. You start printing money to fix the consequences of money printing. This is the kind of mentality that you get into.
It takes maybe someone like you to step back and say, wait a second, maybe none of this is true. You wrote Bitcoin Standard in 18, way before COVID printing, way before inflation skyrocketing. You were calling this years before that.
If you don't want Bitcoin, if you don't agree with Bitcoin, if you don't like Bitcoin, yeah, continue to use your local government's scam money, continue to hold government bonds, continue to get wiped out, put your money in banks that go under, and enjoy poverty. If you look at it realistically, all currencies are in hyperinflation at slow motion. In the long run, Bitcoin is the short on all of those currencies. And you know that there's not going to be more than 21 million, and you know that nobody can make more of it, and you know nobody can take away your coins. So then that means you can go and live your life. Do a productive thing for society, spend less than you earn, save the rest in Bitcoin, and live your life.
What do we think of Safadine? We liking his vibe, right? We feeling him? He lays out some pretty strong statements, but is he wrong? Is he wrong in any of those statements? The beautiful thing about COVID is we got to see really what our central banks do to us. And Michael Saylor, who's been on my show, he's the CEO of MicroStrategy. Anybody know Michael Saylor? He is the CEO of a company that started buying billions of dollars of Bitcoin. It's a publicly traded company. And when he saw COVID happen, he said, wait a second. All of a sudden, the stock market went up 30%. And the economy didn't do anything. It's because the government printed money. He said, so my money is basically worth 30% less. And as a CEO, I can't hold cash on my balance sheet anymore because I'm not acting in the interest of my shareholders. So he started buying Bitcoin and tons of it. And so many people are waking up, and it's time that all of us did at the end of the day. So that's Safadine. Again, I'm blessed because I get to speak with the greatest minds in the world on crypto every single week. And these are my takeaways. Fiat currency is trash. That's a dollar, that's a yen, that's a euro. Any currency in the world is trash because it allows your government to steal from you. Governments steal from you with inflation, with taxation, with money printing. They're constantly stealing from you. And guess what? Poor people get it worse. That's the crazy thing about this. The rich still get richer, but the poor have it even worse. All right? Bitcoin is the only sensible investment. Now, early adopters of Bitcoin have known this, right? They bought it at $1 or $10. I bought some at $100 10 years ago in 2013. And we knew that early on, but this is potentially nothing to where it's going to go. And this technology is going to change everything in this world. Let me say one more thing, folks, while I'm here. When you own Bitcoin, you own property that cannot be taken away by your government. What does that give you? That gives you a lot of rights, like freedom of speech and real freedom. You cannot have freedom unless you own property. Does that make sense to everybody here? Right? Imagine if you're getting a UBI check, which is being talked about because AI is going to take a lot of your jobs. Imagine the government says, don't worry, we're going to give you a check every month for a couple $1,000s. How many people want that check right away? I'll take it. I'm in first in line. Because when you take that check, they're going to start telling you what to do. All right? Julio, they are. At first, they won't say it. And then they'll say, well, if you want it really fast, we're going to have to just make sure that, you're not doing anything we don't like doing. And maybe you should take down that one post. And we saw and noticed that you bought that one thing. You shouldn't buy that. The problem is that if you don't own your property, someone else will end up owning you. And this is ultimately what this is about. And so you want to own an asset. It could be a piece of real estate. It used to be money in the bank, but these days, having something like Bitcoin will ultimately ensure your freedom. And that's why a lot of the Bitcoin people are big into freedoms as well. So look, that's one taste there. I want to talk about three things today. The BlackRock Bitcoin ETF and why institutions are going to want this Bitcoin and they're going to pile into it. Secondly, how traditional finance or TradFi is bringing trillions to this market. And then I want to show you how you can trade and profit from this right now. And these are practical steps. Again, we've graduated over 1,000 students teaching them crypto and DeFi. They've gone on to make a lot of money investing, becoming influencers, becoming advisors on a lot of these startups in the Bitcoin space and the Ethereum space and others. And we're writing $3 million worth of checks this quarter and putting them into crypto investments. And so we are currently investing $3 million. I'll give you a little taste of the companies we're investing in right now. And they're all using this technology. And so the reason we're doing that is because we think these are going to have these massive improvements. This is like investing in Google back in 2003, right? When it was a startup and people were like, tech, the dot-com boom came. That's what this is like. And we think we're going to see massive asymmetric returns. Does that make sense to everybody here? Okay, good. But first, you got to understand why this stuff is going up. And so, by the way, we do this through something called London Real Ventures. And this is something that happens behind the scenes at London Real. We started investing 2 years ago. It's the world's first media-powered investment firm. So we take the platform of London Real, and what I do is I use this massive platform to take the CEO of one of these startups and to basically blow them up to the world. That gets them future investments, some of the best talent, future customers, and then we also write them a big fat check for $500,000 or $1 million or more. And that's why we're seeing the best deals in the world right now. These are a bunch of the companies we've already investing in. We're closing about 4 deals probably in the next 60 days. Just announcing another one tomorrow night on the call. And it's really exciting times. We love right now because it's still in the bear market. We're getting incredible bargains. I think in the next few months, especially if this institutional money comes in, if Bitcoin goes to 40, 50, 60,000, a lot of the prices of these companies are just going to get too expensive. So we are buying them now. And that's why you got to educate yourself now on this, because the opportunities are here. When everyone starts talking about crypto again and your grandma's buying Bitcoin, it's going to be too late. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about, right? Whenever your grandma's buying Bitcoin is when it's about to crash. Whenever the taxi driver is a crypto trader, what does it mean, folks? Come on. It means it's about to crash. I saw this in New York City in 2000. The taxi drivers were trading internet stocks. And I was like, really? And they crashed. So that's what always happens. You want to do it when not many people are talking about it. That's when you get the prices that end up making a ton of money. And we're talking about 100x returns on your investment, 500x returns on your investment, 1,000x returns on your money. Things that are just not heard of in like the stock market or all these traditional ways. But you've got to know the basics of crypto first. And again, this all comes down to our mission here at London Real. This is a mission statement on the back wall. And that is to create a mass-scale transformation of humanity into a fully empowered, conscious, and cooperative species. I believe that by teaching people like you about how to own your own money, giving you a financial education for the first time in your life. By the way, raise your hand if when you were in school, they taught you about money. Anybody? Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? It's scandalous, as my guest Yatsu said recently, who runs a $4 billion hedge fund. Scandalous. And I just talked to Kim Kiyosaki at length about this, right? Because they would like you not to understand money. It makes you easier to control. And so for us, we want to make you fully empowered, conscious, and cooperative. To do that, we got to teach you about money. Because if you don't know about money, you're going to have a very difficult time having any freedoms in your life. So this is the time, folks. And again, I also have an extra why. These two young men are, I'm trying to teach them about money. And actually, they're about to get their own Bitcoin wallets. We play the cash flow board game with Robert Kiyosaki every single Sunday. It's set up right here at the conference room table here. And we're playing cash flow. They're learning about passive income. They're learning about assets. And now their allowance is going to soon be Bitcoin. And then I don't know what's going to happen after that, right? Maybe they'll get rid of me. Imagine once they have financial freedom, they don't have to listen to me anymore. I didn't think about that. Anyways, so there you go. This is important, folks. And all my members, my mom has crypto. My daughter has crypto. They're all educated. So let's jump in. First of all, my philosophy on all this is every battle is won before it's ever fought. Has anyone ever heard this phrase by Sun Tzu from a book called The Art of War? What does that mean? What does that mean at the end of the day, Gabriella? It means that we don't just go into battles and roll the dice. We don't flip a coin. We prepare. And when we prepare, we know we're going to win. That's the way I do this. That's the way I've always invested. I don't go in and hope. I don't pray. You know, these aren't lottery tickets. We go in there knowing that we've already won. And so that's what we do behind the scenes. We prepare, we do our due diligence. So we win a lot more than we lose. So that's what we do. This is Mark Yusko, all right? And again, I'm blessed because of this platform that I can get multi-billion-dollar hedge fund and venture capitalists on my show to talk to me. They don't come on for me and my good looks. They come on because we have 2.2 million subscribers on YouTube, right? And 1 billion views. Maybe they like the way I look, I don't know. But that's what he did. And Mark came on and he talked about Bitcoin and inflation and why blockchain and DeFi are the greatest wealth creation opportunity of our lifetime, right? This is a guy that's highly respected. I'd say one of the top 3 fund managers, VCs in this space. And I want to just play a quick video from him because again, you won't find this information anywhere. And you can really see what Mark's saying about this. And you know, come 5 years from now, 10 years from now, people are going to look back and they're going to kick themselves for not seeing what was right in front of their eyes, right in front of their faces when it comes to this piece. So let me just get Mark up really quick. Yeah. So this is what Mark said when I had him on very recently.
This idea that it's just Bitcoin, just Ethereum, no, it's the technological evolution, not revolution. What blockchain will do to financial services is what the internet did to media and commerce. But it doesn't just transfer market cap, it expands. Blockchain busts the monopoly of finance, and they make lots of money being the trusted third parties between the exchange of value. What blockchain technology does is it goes from dual entry accounting to triple entry accounting. Now you have a ledger, I have a ledger, but there's this third ledger that exists in an encrypted form permanently, immutably. We're replacing trust with truth. This fundamentally changes how humanity interacts. Why? Well, because people are realizing that when you put your money in the bank, it's no longer your money. Well, with blockchain, we don't need that. So it allows us to break the shackles. Humanity moves forward because of human creativity, human ingenuity, innovation.
You mentioned FTX. What do you think actually happened?
I don't believe Sam Bankman-Fried and Caroline were the masterminds of anything. And I think there is a much higher power that masterminded the whole thing to disparage crypto, to slow down the adoption.
You're excited. You think there's great opportunities in this market, and you're just looking forward to the next 10 years, knowing that this will all happen. It's just about how it happens.
I am incredibly optimistic. It's just so inspiring to be around people who are looking forward, who are looking for solutions and innovations. What I actually love to do is seek people with opposite views, to have dialogue and debate and search of truth. And now the problem is you're not allowed to talk to people. Left can't talk to right, up can't talk to down. No, that's what you need to do. Talk to listen and learn and discern. You may still believe what you believe and you may believe it more, but occasionally you might change your mind.
Oh yeah, we like Mark. Pretty good insight there, right? You like what he said about FTX? You said what he said about FTX, right? This is like a major top level fund manager who normally wouldn't say things like that. And he said, look, I think they were the fall guy. He really thinks that it wasn't just some 30-year-old punk kid, down there eating vegetables in the Bahamas. Like, it's too simple. He thinks it was set up so they would take the fall, and who sneaks in the back door? BlackRock, right? Perfect. And I mean, again, I didn't even prompt him on that. Like, this is something he's been talking about for a while. So even guys that have been in the business for a long time can see what's going on here. And it's a perfect play of events. They took crypto away from the people that created it, and they're now about to give this amazing asset class to the traditional institutions. Let me say one thing before I show you the takeaways from this. I worked on Wall Street and here in the city of London, top levels of international finance for 15 years. And I learned one thing, and this is something only an ex-banker could tell you. When your client calls you up and says, I need some Bitcoin exposure, right? I run a fund. My clients are asking me for Bitcoin exposure. They read about it. Their kids have it. Guess what? If I'm a bank and I don't give it to them, guess what they're going to do? They're going to call the next bank. And one of those people are going to give them what they want. All right. Because we're like drug dealers. If your client wants this, if you don't get it to them, somebody else will. Does that make sense here? Right. And so it's not like, they're like, oh no, you're going to ruin our cabal. I mean, the people that work on Wall Street are after one thing, their own bonus at the end of the year. That's all they care about. You could call them up and ask them for like, alien brains. And if somebody else is going to get it for them, you're going to find a way. All right. And so don't think that these bankers are trying to look out for their institution. They're not. And because if you don't give your client what they want, they'll go down the street and they'll find it from somebody else. And so I think it's obvious now, especially with Bitcoin, this is a proven bulletproof asset class that is going to be, listen to me, 1 to 4% of any diversified portfolio going forward for probably the next 100 years. Does that make sense to everybody? That's a tiny part of a portfolio, by the way. You might have 30% in stocks, maybe 30% in bonds, maybe 20% in real estate, maybe 8% in commodities, and you'll have 1 to 4% in crypto, right? It's just smart. Why wouldn't you do that? And it's diversified. But 1 to 4% of 20, 30, 40, 50 trillion dollars is a lot of money. And when you put that into Bitcoin, everything goes crazy. So my takeaways from Mark are the following. And it's just great, to have a guy like that really show you what's going on behind the scenes. And this is what we can learn from him. Crypto is technological evolution. You see how he said that? Not revolution. This is evolution. This is only a matter of time. This was going to happen. If it didn't happen in the 2020s, it was going to happen in the 30s or the 40s. But at some point, we were going to find a digital form of money. Bitcoin busts the monopoly of finance. He said that. Finance has been monopolized by banks, insurance companies, pension funds, and central banks for the past 100 years. It's a club. I used to be part of that club. Guess what? When you're part of the club, it's like a money printing machine. Bitcoin busts that. And crypto replaces trust with truth. That's the most important thing. With Bitcoin, you don't have to trust anyone. By the way, raise your hand if that makes sense to you. Maybe it doesn't. With Bitcoin, if you have the private keys, I don't have to trust you, Gabriella. I mean, Gabriella seems pretty trustworthy to me. But I don't have to think, Gabriella, give me my Bitcoin back, right? I don't even have to trust my bank. What if I held my money in Silicon Valley Bank? About 4 months ago, it looked like that was going to zero over the weekend, right? Almost did. With Bitcoin, I don't have to trust anybody. I have the digits. I have a private key that, thanks to cryptography, shows me where my coin is and no one else can touch it. And it's a beautiful thing. It actually sets up for a better world when we don't have to have all these trust factors, because it's truth. So this is powerful stuff, folks. And once you get it, then hopefully you'll know that you've got to move forward on this. Look, there's just so many people I could talk to you about. This is Dan Tapiero. He's a macro guy. He believes Bitcoin is going to a $10 trillion market. That's 10x more in Bitcoin sometime in the next 5 years. And again, Bitcoin's at 31,000 right now. That'd be $310,000 Bitcoin. I mean, you can make a lot of money on this. And by the way, if you own other assets around Bitcoin, they go up 100x or 1,000x. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to keep this nice and short and sweet today. So I'm going to skip Dan's. By the way, Dan is raising a new $1 billion fund, and we are going to be investing in his fund. I've got a great relationship with Dan. He's been on the show twice. And my investment club students now have access to his $1 billion fund. He's considered one of the greatest, most savvy investors out there. And he invests in the digital asset ecosystem. He invests in companies like Ledger, Bored Apes, all these companies that are going to use crypto. He invests in the infrastructure. But one of the things I wanted to show you was my conversation with Yatsu. Yat has become a good friend. He runs a $4 billion de facto hedge fund called Animoka Brands. Animoka has investments in over 400 companies. They do a lot of gaming, a lot of metaverse, a lot of AI, and they have a lot of tokens, folks. But these aren't Bitcoin. These are the kind of tokens that will go up 100x, 1,000x, 10,000x. Like, they're smaller companies. And once Bitcoin goes up and Ethereum goes up, these things go way up. And so I had him on recently, and we were talking about how artificial intelligence, and by the way, raise your hand if you've been keeping your eye on artificial intelligence. You've been playing with ChatGPT, right? We have too. We got a big investment. We're about to put $1 million into what we think is the OpenAI killer. Yeah, I saw Yat in Texas, Austin, Texas, at the Consensus Conference. And backstage, we were hanging out with William Shatner, Captain Kirk. It's a long story. And he said, Brian, I think AI, the reason AIs are going to be able to transact with each other is it all has to be on the blockchain. Think about that. If AI needs a piece of information to learn, it's got to pay someone with a micropayment. It has to be on the blockchain. So he says, Brian, the way that AIs are going to have to communicate with each other and compensate each other forces them all on the blockchain. And again, Yat's been around, right? And he is right now going to build $1 trillion metaverse market, which will then just accelerate what's happening. So I want to play for you just some snippets from my conversation with Yat. We're actually about to invest in one of the companies they just closed on, which is like a special deal. I'll just give you a sneak peek of it a little bit. But Yat's been incredible, and he really understands the space better than anybody out there. And this is what Yat told me recently.
Why would you exist in a Web 2 paradigm where you're making literally pennies on the dollar when you should be receiving your fair share of value, which is what's happening in Web 3? So that is the meaning of the open universe. And if you're not in it, then I think you're really sort of not seeing where the future is, because virtual work, I think, is the future anyway.
It's not a new thing. This is just us, but now represented digitally, and it's only going one way.
Where are we spending our time? We're spending our time digitally. Owning our data, owning the derivative of our data is so critical, and people don't understand that, especially in this age of AI. Because after all, AI lives off our data. We are feeding the AI. You wouldn't have ChatGPT or self-driving cars if it wasn't for our data. And how much are we getting paid for it? Big fat zero.
You're giving away your data and someone's selling it back to you.
That trade of that data commodity has always been locked until today.
One of the things we aren't taught in school is we're not taught about money.
No, not at all.
And
It's a scandal, if you ask me. I think it's scandalous. When you onboard any person from Web 2 to Web 3, you're not just opening a wallet for them. The effective onboarding comes with financial education. That's the part that has been missing. If now billions of people have similar knowledge about financial systems, that to me becomes the antidote for financial abuse.
Do you think the fight for digital property rights is the most important fight of the human species?
What we're building is bigger than us. If you don't have property rights, you can't have freedom. If you can't have the ownership of it, then you can't predict the future for it. If you can see your future, then you can build towards it, and you're naturally optimistic. If you can't see the future, that's, I think, where trouble begins.
We like Yat too. Come on, right? You feeling this guy? We love Yat. And again, what did he say? You have to have digital property rights, right? Think about all the data that these AIs are learning from. It's your data. Did anybody here get paid by ChatGPT for all your data? No, right? All of this stuff comes from you. What about Facebook and YouTube? All your search and browsing data. Anybody get a check for that? No, no. All this stuff out there, we're giving it all away. And Web3 means that you get to own that data. You get to get compensated for this data. This is the future. And if you think Bitcoin's crazy when it goes up by 10x, look at the Web3 ecosystem. It's going to go up by trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, which is why we are invested alongside Animoka in this brand new Web3 app, like all sorts of things. We're positioned in so many different ways throughout this to take advantage. So takeaways from Yat, for me, and by the way, if you have any questions, just hit them up in the chat for me and I'll answer them all at the end. Takeaways here for Yat is Web3 gives us our freedoms. And again, back, Web3, if YouTube is Web2, where YouTube basically owns all my subscribers, they own all my videos, and they give me the permission of using their platform. And by the way, they sell advertising to all of my videos and they give me zero. YouTube demonetized me in 2020 when I was a bad little boy, right? So they take millions and millions and millions of dollars from my content every year. They can deplatform me at any time. They can delete my videos at any time. And my 2.2 million subscribers, I have no information who they are. Does that sound like a good deal to everybody here, right? A terrible deal. Web3 means I get to own my content. I get to have direct relationships with you, MJ, or you, Julio, or you, Gabriella, right? That's the future we're going to. And that's what Yat is all about. The metaverse is the future. Look at us right now, folks. What is this that we're in right now? What is this? This is a metaverse, right? We are all digitally acting with each other, right? And it's kind of fun, right? I mean, it's not like you're here, but you can feel my vibes. I can see what's going on with you. We're having a little bit of a metaverse here. Now, look, we're not walking around in a game with a VR headset. That'll come later. But the metaverse is the future, folks. We're all in metaverses every day. We basically play a game. Some of us work from home. Some of us speak to our parents from home. We do everything so much digitally. And crypto is going to empower the AI economy. This is crucial, right? We know AI is going to change the world and crypto is going to empower that economy. So these are the big things I really want you to know. You know, you have to educate yourself now because this is going to go fast. And what's going to be the problem is we saw this in 2021. Bitcoin went from 30 grand, where we are now, to 68 grand. And it did it in months. And at that point, you were too late. And by the way, you couldn't get in on these deals because everybody was in them and you hadn't educated yourself. So you didn't know what was going on. You were making bad decisions, buying the wrong coins. The time to prepare is now, right? When did Noah build the ark? Anybody know? Before it rained. That's what we're doing right now. That's what you need to be doing. So this is the time to educate yourself on this so you can be ready for this massive move. And so people always say, Brian, how do I create generational wealth? You have to pull the trigger. You have to take action. Otherwise, you have no chance of doing any of this. And you're going to watch this like a piece of content on Netflix. That's not why I'm here today. I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here to educate you to take action. Otherwise, I've wasted my time today. And quite frankly, you've wasted my time today. I'm all about people taking action. If you look at my life, it's about action every day. And I don't want you to miss on this, but some of you will look at this and 2 years from now, when you see all of this happen, 10X, you're going to tell your friends down at the bar, oh yeah, I know, I heard about the metaverse. I was on a masterclass with Brian Rose one time. And they'll say, oh yeah, are you worth a lot of money? No, I didn't pull the trigger. Like that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to try to implore you to do something. And that's what we do inside our academy. By the way, this is Cross the Ages. This is a crypto company, one of the hottest blockchain gaming companies in the world right now that we invested back in 2021. The reason I could invest in this is because I had educated myself on Bitcoin, Ethereum, decentralized finance, everything that we teach. Because of that, I and we inside our investment club are now owners in one of the hottest prospects out there. I had Sammy on the show. I put him in the leather chair. We blew him up to all of his founders. And now they're selling $1 million worth of NFTs. They got a $12 million financing round from our friends at Animoka Brands, from people at Ubisoft. And we're expecting a 10X pop on this token this year. And from there, it probably goes up another 10X. That's a lot of money, folks. And again, we have a track record of success. But the only reason you can see these opportunities is if you are educated in crypto and DeFi and the blockchains and all of those tokens I mentioned and all the little details about how you work those in the background, you get yield on them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is one of the companies we've just invested in. This is Orange Comet, and they are basically, they're a Web3 gaming company, and they're revolutionizing metaverse experiences, mainly doing this for massive Hollywood actors and franchises. They're building the metaverses out. That's why we love this company, because we know that's going to be a huge way to make money in the future. This is Vadim, who is actually building metaverses for the Fortune 500 companies. They're working with companies like PepsiCo, Frito-Lay, Google, Slack, and they're empowering these companies to take everybody into the metaverse. So we know these tokens are going up, and this is open. The deal we're doing with Yatsu right now, it's our hottest new Web3 super app. It's for artists and creators. And again, it's like YouTube, but for Web3 people. And this is Jason Ma. He's an OG in the investment space in California, and he travels the world. And he's empowering creators like me to have direct relationships with my subscribers and followers, so where I own the content and I know who I'm talking to. This is the replacement for YouTube. It's what happens when WhatsApp meets Amazon, and he's building it and we're investing in it. Of course, we're about to put money into this $1 billion fund. You might guess who it is. It's a growth equity fund focusing on investing in mid to late digital asset ecosystems. Because of my relationship, we're getting a bunch of our members into that. And of course, our big deal we're about to close is the OpenAI killer. We think this will take out ChatGPT, potentially be a $5 trillion company, which will make it the biggest company in the world. We are actively investing in this. So again, if you want to learn about this, folks, don't buy a book. Don't go listen to some podcast that someone that talks. Don't even go to school, because the professors, even at MIT and Harvard, don't know anything about this because they're not pulling the trigger. Find someone that's actually doing these deals, that's actually teaching it and having a massive amount of success, and grab on and hold tight, because they're going to take you to the promised land. And again, this is what I believe. The greatest way to predict the future is to create it. How many people agree with that? This is our ethos here at London Real, right? Stop waiting for things to happen. Stop whining about things happening, right? Complaining is not a strategy. Famous quote by Jeff Bezos. You have an opportunity here. You've got knowledge at your fingertips. You're on this call, for God's sakes. Imagine the millions of people that wish they were here right now. You have the chance. Create your future. You're literally a few steps away from really getting on the board and creating that generational wealth. So again, to successfully invest long-term in crypto, you need three things. You have to have education, mentorship, and a community. By the way, I'm giving you education right now. This is not enough, folks. This call alone is not going to get you any richer. You're just going to stay poor or, wherever you are right now. Because unless you change your community and unless you get a mentor to push you, you're not going to be successful. How many people agree with me, by the way? I'm right. I'm right. How many people you read a book about money and you got rich? Anybody out there? It's very few people. You have a peer group right now that is not a high performance peer group. None of your friends are building $1 billion company. None of your friends are trying to create 10, 20, $30 million in the next 3 years. Are they? Probably not. Which means they are going to basically try to keep you from doing this. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. You got friends and family who probably think you're crazy even for being on this call, right? You've got to get around people who believe they're going to make it, who maybe know they're going to make it. We all know we're going to be massively wealthy and create amazing things for this world. You need to be around that group. And so this is why and what we teach. This is actually why I created my Crypto and DeFi Academy 2 years ago, graduated over 1,000 students. My students have gone on to make millions and millions of dollars, advise companies, invest in some of the biggest deals out there, create YouTube channels with hundreds of thousands of views, become influencers, get on stage at conferences. And that's what we do. We take people through a 4-week crypto boot camp. And I get you to take action. You're buying Bitcoin and Ethereum. You're getting hot wallets, cold wallets, centralized exchanges. You do a swap on a decentralized exchange. You use Uniswap. You use Aave. You buy an option on crypto. I kid you not. And then I start teaching you how to invest with my 10 coin rule, my 30-day watch system. The whole thing is what we do. I do it all personally. I teach in real time. You've got a community and you've got things you have to do. Like you have homework that you have to do. And if you don't do it, I get angry. And look, it's your chance to be part of what I call the greatest dislocation of wealth in human history. It's 4 weeks, it's 4 modules, it's invitation only. You have to apply, but if you're accepted and you're in, it's the greatest experience of your life. It's the best community out there. It's 8 hours of live calls with me, all right? I am there with you in the trenches. I even put a different color tie on every single time, right? It's a beautiful thing. You get access to our online e-learning platform with all my videos and all my workbooks. I have a triple tiered accountability system to make sure you show up and you do the work. We've got coaches, team leaders, community managers that work with you every day. And I got a private group of people where they're uploading videos all the time. And you'll be uploading videos too of all the work you're doing. There's nowhere to hide. Within 4 weeks, you'll be an expert on this. I kid you not, you will. After 4 weeks in this program, and Martini knows this, you will know more than 99% of the people that go to these crypto conferences. I know that because my students go there and they know more than the people at Consensus. I go to Paris, I'm going to Dubai, I'm going to Singapore in September. You'll know more than all these people that show up at these conferences and act like they're crypto people. You'll know more, all right? You can apply to join us at learnreal.tv/DeFi, that's DEFI /crypto. And this is what we teach. In week 1, I give you the full history of crypto. If you don't understand our past, you will not be able to predict the future. We talk about Bitcoin creation. You'll read the Bitcoin white paper. It's 8 pages long. You won't understand the whole thing, but you'll read it. That's huge. We'll talk about Ethereum. We'll talk about the ICO boom and bust. We'll talk about the crashes, the ups, the DeFi summer, everything. We'll talk to you about crypto. You'll understand it all. Week 2, we really jump in. You'll start buying Bitcoin, Ethereum, stable coins. We'll show you how to get your hot and cold wallet set up. Show you how to set up your centralized exchanges, your decentralized exchanges, and you will create and execute a swap on Uniswap. This will freak you out. You'll be totally scared. You'll be white knuckling it, right? But we'll get you through that and you'll be like, oh my gosh, Brian, I'm really good at this. This is what we do. We believe in action, action, action. Again, mentorship, education, community. I've been doing this for 9 years, folks, right? We know what we're doing here. Week 3 is all about DEXs, dApps, and yield farming. Now I take that crypto and I show you how to earn cash flow on that, right? And you can do it with smart contracts. Again, no risk, right? None of the platforms we use ever faltered during the crisis. We don't trust banks. We don't trust places like FTX. We don't need to. We have smart contracts. I teach you all how that works, liquidity pools, yield swaps, and you will literally buy an option on crypto. You'll be like, oh my God, I'm not ready for that. Yes, you are. Right? I traded options for many years. Like I traded billions and billions of dollars worth of options, and I want you to understand them because they're a fundamental building block of finance. And week 4, I show you how to profit by trading crypto and DeFi and position your portfolio for the future. I show you how to manage risk. It's a game of controlling your emotions, folks. It's so hard to trade because your emotions are going to tell you the wrong thing to do. Most people are totally screw up their trading. You are built as a human emotionally to lose money trading. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about, right? What do? When everybody's really excited about crypto and it goes to 68,000, what do you want to do? You want to buy it. And when everyone says crypto is going to zero and it goes down to 20,000, what do? You want to sell it, right? You're buying high and selling low. Is that a way to make money? Anybody? No, it's a way to lose money. You have to train yourself a lot like an athlete, maybe like a boxer, to lean into that punch, to buy when it's low, to sell when it's high. It's one of the most difficult things to do. But once you train your brain, you can train your brain to make money. And I did this on Wall Street. I learned the hard way with really tough guy traders on Wall Street, breaking phones, trying to break my hands, cutting off my tie when I made mistakes on trades. Trust me, I learned the hard way, and I'll teach you the same way. So I'll show you how to manage it, stop loss orders, educate yourself, the whole nine. And of course, I've got a bonus module that tells you how I position my portfolio for the future. We teach this all virtually. We graduated students in over 100 countries around the world. I've had people, we had that kid from high school, from Mexico, 15 years old the other day. And we had someone that was like 85 years old, right? In countries all over the world, in every single background, every single level of education. Some people are worth hundreds of millions. Some people are worth hundreds of dollars. We don't care. And again, it's your chance to be part of the greatest dislocation of wealth in human history. So you can apply to join us. We start this class on Monday. So literally you can be right in there. You can be with a group of people. Some of the students in this class are also part of our other programs, like our investment club and our Kings of DeFi and our advanced programs as well. So you can rub elbows with people that are also investing in these billion-dollar opportunities that we're doing behind the scenes. And since you're here on this call, I'm throwing in a couple of special bonuses. So I did a private event with Dan Pena at the Ritz Hotel here in London a few years ago, and I'm giving you this 2-hour video of Dan Pena screaming at you just for joining us, all right? It's a special bonus. This was a really expensive ticket. There were 2 billionaires in the room, and I got banned from the Ritz for 2 years because of this video. So you know it's good, right? And that's yours for free. It'll really get you motivated, and stop with your whining and your excuses, because isn't your wealth, aren't the people around you worth it? Like, raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. Aren't they worth it? You know, that's what I say it. The reason I'm pushing you, because these people are worth it, right? They deserve more than your excuses. And so do you. Special bonus number 2 is I'm also giving you bonus module 1 of my Kings of DeFi program, which is how to trade like the Terminator using my 1% rule. I'm going to show you how to take your profits and limit losses with automated orders and what I call fixed reward to risk ratios. This is advanced stuff, folks. Then I'm also going to give you bonus module 1 of my investment club program. This is our elite program where people alongside us are investing millions of dollars in the hottest protocols in the world. And I'm going to teach you what is a crypto pre-sale token, a SAFT agreement, how you can directly invest in these companies with SAFs and safes. By the way, no one's teaching this. All my Wall Street buddies hate me for teaching this, because this is how the system keeps you poor, by not giving you this education. And again, I just want to say my academy is not for the following people. I don't want day traders. Please, please go somewhere else. 95% of day traders lose money, right? They have no idea what they're doing. So please, that's not what we teach. If you want to get rich quick, please go somewhere else. Somebody will sell you that course. I will not. For the next 10 years, I am involved in this ecosystem. I have pledged to my community that I'm going to generate them $10 billion of wealth in the next 10 years. But if you want to get rich in a week or two, go somewhere else, because it's not realistic. If you're into meme coins and going on forums and trolling people and blah, 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 putting up comments, again, go somewhere else. If you're a blockchain fanboy that likes to talk about the halving and all the hashes and all that nonsense, I know all that. But if you talk about it, you're not making money. So please go somewhere else. And again, crypto academics that like to, wax lyrical about all the different chains, I like people that pull the trigger and take action. And so again, if you apply to join us, LeonardReal.tv/DeFi. I personally review all applications, and if you're accepted, you better pull the trigger and join us, because you are about to join an elite group of people that are doing it. And by the way, this is our Wealth Academy journey. We have places all along this journey. We have a wealth accelerator that gets you into the mindset of money. We have our crypto and DeFi accelerator, which starts on Monday. We have our Kings of DeFi, which is a 1-year-long advanced crypto program with blockchain and metaverse. You'll mint your own NFT. You'll learn about how to manage money, how to do a chart reading, everything. And then our investment club is our super premium group, where we've got 73 people from around the world that are going to be making, billions of dollars over the next 10 years. So this is what we're doing, folks. We love it. It's super congruent with our mission. And we're here to educate you financially and to make you wealthy. That's what we're here to do. And it's for people that are London realers. I don't advertise these things on social media. The reason you're here is because you're on our email list. You're part of a trusted group of people. And we want you in this community. Our communities are the best you've ever been in. They're amazing London realers with good energy. They want the best from you. They want to push you, but they also want you to win. We just want you to see you successful. And I would argue very few people in your life actually want you to be super successful. I want you to make more money than me. That means I'm a great teacher. How many people in your life want you to be better than them? That's what I want. I really do. There's enough money in this world for all of us to be wealthy. All of us. So apply to join us right now, LondonReal.tv/DeFi. We'll literally review your application within hours. And if you get accepted, pull the trigger and join us because it's a no-brainer. All right. I'd love to go to some Q&A. I hope that really helped everybody tonight. Everybody get some deep insights as far as what was going on. Also, we've got Martini here, who is deeply involved in all of the communities that I just showed you. She also is investing alongside all the students in a lot of these hot companies. And I thought I would pull her in here so she can let you know any next steps if you want to talk to her. Obviously, the no-brainer is to click the link, apply, and then join us because we've only got a few days left until the class starts. But Martini, if they do want to speak to you, tell them the next steps for that.
Yes. Well, once again, guys, thank you so much for deciding to spend some of your day with us. And hopefully you were able to pick up some amazing gems that will support you on your journey. But do not let it stop here, okay? So one thing that Brian always loves is for people to pull the trigger, take action, and just, dive in head on, right? And one thing that you said, Brian, that really resonated with me is that if you don't own your property, someone will own you, and with where we're at right now with society, we definitely need to have financial freedom back into the hands of the people. And we are here to educate you on how to do that. Okay. So for those of you who are wanting to go ahead and join us in the Crypto and DeFi Academy, I went ahead and put some links inside of the chat there. So if you can look on down and take a look at the chat. I posted a link for you guys to go ahead and take a look at the Crypto and DeFi Academy page and just take a look at everything that's going to be there, what you're going to be learning, and how we can best support you. And for those of you who are fairly new to all of this, I would say now's not the time to be scared or kind of just opt out. We are with you hands-on every single step of the way. So we got community managers there, we have coaches there, and of course we've got Brian leading the way. So if you have questions or anything, we have a policy that no man or woman is left behind. Okay, so that is definitely going to be included with the Crypto and DeFi Academy course. For those of you who have additional questions, I know that some of you, you may have some questions, so go ahead and book a call with me. My link is inside, but I only want to talk to people who are serious. I am up round the clock, and I want to make sure that I am spending time with people who are really serious about pulling the trigger, joining us in, taking control of their financial freedom through DeFi. And of course, if you can't get a hold of me, because I know we're spread out all throughout the land with different time zones, go ahead and connect with me on Facebook so that you can let me know where you're from and what time is most available for you, and I'll definitely do my best to accommodate. And also, if you do go ahead and join us, if we are friends on Facebook, I'll get you into the group a lot faster, so you'll get that VIP speed access. So there's always email as well, but truly Facebook is always the fastest way to get a hold of me. All right, guys, well, we are hoping to see you on the inside on Monday, and back to you, Brian.
Awesome. Give it up for Martini. Always there, always going strong, always there to help the community take things to the next level, and she can answer any questions you have. But look, for this one, it's a no-brainer. Like, seriously, pull the trigger and join us. In 4 weeks, you'll really be ready to take advantage of this. If you don't educate yourself, it's just, you have no chance. The class is 6 p.m. UK time on Monday, and then on Thursday, it's a 5 p.m. UK call. I'm there on both of those calls. You'll meet the community. You'll get the information. You'll be literally taking action. You'll learn more than you've ever learned before, and you'll be really positioned. And so many of our grads have gone on to do massive things in this space, and it all started with them pulling the trigger and just saying, you know what? I'm tired of the excuses. I'm tired of looking at my bank balance every month. I'm tired of looking at my loved ones when they look at me like, why don't we have these opportunities? It all comes down to a few moments. This is an incredible chance you have to get in on the ground floor of a technology we know is going to revolutionize the world and revolutionize finance. And you can learn from the best in the business, which is us. I've got my finger on the pulse of what's going on because I have the top people in this industry coming on my show every few days. So I know what's happening before the Wall Street Journal knows, before the Financial Times, before anybody. And that's how we also invest. We have the edge to do that. So look, I really appreciate everybody being here. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Honestly, we would love to see you there on Monday. So pull the trigger, make it happen. And thank you so much. All right. We'll see you on the inside. Bye.